So you talked about how you ended up writing at UPROXX. Like, what was that transition like? I think you found your way in through the comments, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was when our buddy Matt Ufford was
Yeah,
writing with leather and warm and glow. I don't even remember how I stumbled across these sites in the first place. Probably through Deadspin.
sounds
Probably
right.
that's what I would do. So I got bored and
Yeah,
I started commenting there, and I was writing my own little like blog spot thing just for fun, just to like you get that little like creativity thing and you want to shoot something out, and so I was sending those to Ufford, and he was like, "This is pretty good," and one day Ufford like needed to go to the doctor or something, or some very basic thing where he just needed an afternoon off. So he emailed, this is, by the way, he still doesn't know my real name when this is going on. He just knows me through my commenter thing. So he emails me and he's like, "Do you think you can cover like three little blogs in the afternoon when I go to the doctor?" And I was like, "Yeah." I think I blew off a class. I think like a law school class. I was like, "I can't make it. There's something going on." So I could write like little jerk blogs about TV guys. But yeah, that was probably what, like 2010, 2009.
that's so funny because that's how Ufford got his start too. He was in the Deadspin comments, just lighting it up.
Yeah.
And I noticed he was obviously like the funniest person in there. So I reached out to him, and that's how we conceived of With Leather. It was pulling him and saying, "Hey, why don't you have your own site?" And so it's almost like he kind of like paid that forward and kept it going. And contrary to popular belief, I guess the internet comments can be good.
Now, this is where we bring up the fact that you just casually mentioned, like, "Oh yeah, I found Ufford." So let's talk a little bit about how Ryan got going here, because for as long as I've known, like at first you were like this mysterious figure where Matt would be like, "I gotta talk to Ryan," and I'd be like, "Who's Ryan?" So how did you get started with all that?
So I started in, let's see, started college in 2001. I dropped out by early 2003 because I kind of figured out the internet publishing thing. And also, I didn't want to go to class. Similar to you, like as soon as I realized, oh, you can put stuff on the internet and maybe make a little bit of money off of it, or maybe I just want to do that instead of going to class, I pretty much like stopped going to class. So I started a few sites, including What Would Tyler Durden Do, which was at the time like one of the bigger celebrity blogs of its era, like
Yeah,
back when Snark kind of reigned supreme.
yeah, I read it.
Yeah, and based off the success of that, I decided to try to put together a network. So found Matt in the Deadspin comments for With Leather. He was actually rooming with Vince Mancini at the time, and Vince was writing for another site. I wanted to poach him and start a movie site. So we started Film Drunk. So that was the third site in that network. And I guess since it seems like statute of limitations has probably ended on this kind of stuff, um, Vince was not allowed to get out of his contract for the site he was writing for at the time, but we wanted to start the site right away. So he started writing under the pseudonym Lance Martini instead of Vince Mancini. So we got those going. And then I think it was like 2008 ish. Jarrett Meyer reached out about, he was really getting UPROXX started. And I think he just really needed, content creators, and he needed a stepping stone. He wasn't just going to start this site from scratch. So he acquired, first of all, Kissing Susie Colbert, which was probably the funniest NFL blog that has ever existed.
So good.
Um, yeah, Drew wrote for that. PFT commenter, that's where he got his start. Lots of people who are making a very good living online right now. We're writing that site for free before UPROXX snatched it up.
And they let me do a guest article once or time on that site, and I remember thinking like, this is a big deal. Like I'm like that was the closest I felt to like, I more so than getting a full-time job with like benefits and a salary. That was the one where it's like, oh man, I made it.
It was kind of those comment sections for like live in-game threads. They would just open up the comments. That was like a pre-Twitter. I mean, Twitter probably was around at that point, but like people would just sit in there and comment play after play, like commentary, and talk to each other about what was happening in NFL games. It was incredible.
It really was.
So, Jarrett grabbed up KSK, paired it with Film Drunk and With Leather. Then I kind of went into like a wilderness period where I was kind of not involved with those sites because they didn't really need me. I mean, Matt is a brilliant writer. Vince is a brilliant writer. They just kind of folded that into, the UPROXX domain names, let them live there. I had a couple of kids. I started a viral video site called Clip Nation that I think it was only around for like 2 or 3 months. And then I had another conversation with Jarrett about potentially acquiring that, but it turned into more of like an acqui-hire situation. It was, he wanted me to come work there at UPROXX. So he ended up buying that site too, kind of shelved it. I think it ended up being like the UPROXX/videos domain. They just kind of forwarded it there. And so I came on as, I think the title was creative director, but it was more like audience development, social media, making sure we're growing things, doing a lot of blogging, like in the mornings, like, whatever was the hot story that morning, doing a quick write up, competing with you and Josh Kerp with like the stories that would get the most clicks. Mm-hmm. It just kind of took off from there.
Well, here's the funny thing about this too, is like, we're talking about this. So you started these sites, right? You started these a long time ago, and then like you found Ufford, and then like Ufford found me. And since then, like I've met your family. Like we've gone to like dinners together, and like you came to my birthday party, despite the fact that, this long convoluted thing. And now it's, like I said, I've met your wife. Your wife is funnier than both of us, which is really frustrating because she's the one who's not like making money on the internet with a sense of humor. So this is really I was thinking about it like earlier today before we started doing this, and just wrapping it through in my head the past 10, 12 years. You started a website on a lark, because you were kind of getting bored at college, and now 1,000 years later, here we are. And like I could literally text your wife to say hello if I wanted. Maybe I will. Nothing's stopping me.
I can't believe you turned episode 1 around and had me tell my story. This one's supposed to be about you, buddy.
Well, I got to keep everybody on their toes.